Hi, welcome back to Avatar Tea Times with Beav and Jess. Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
Here for another episode. So, yeah, a lot been going on. We moved into our little office and made a little studio in here. So we're going to be recording in our study/studio from now on.
Our study.
Yeah.
Studio.
And I wanted to mention too that we're less than a week away for the Tadum event.
Yeah.
Where something is supposed to be released about Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action. So.
And it better be a trailer.
It better be. That's all I'm saying is it better be a trailer.
That better be a trailer. Better show some bending.
Yeah.
Better
something.
not be.
Just give us something. Please.
Just something.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're excited.
Yeah.
We're gonna. I don't know. We thought about maybe like posting a reaction or something like that.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
I think it'd be fun.
I think we should.
Yeah?
Yeah, with everything that's getting rolled out, we should just do our reactions to all of it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be really fun.
So yeah, let's get started.
Well, first I wanted to say, tomorrow is Bira and I's anniversary.
Oh yes. How could I forget?
So we're just excited to be, talking about Avatar: Last Airbender.
Oh yeah.
The day before our anniversary.
Absolutely.
It just makes sense.
Yeah, we usually record on Sundays.
Yes.
And we're just talking about this weekend and how our anniversary is tomorrow, and are we gonna want to record Avatar, episode? And we both decided, we wouldn't want to start our celebration for our anniversary any other way
exactly
than to have an Avatar Tea Times episode discussion about Avatar: The Last Airbender. So here we are. What a great start to our anniversary.
Start. Yeah. It'll be 2 years for us. Happy anniversary, baby.
I love you.
I love you. Cheers again. Let's go. So last week, we were thinking about doing part 1 and part 2 of the winter solstice, and we got really into winter solstice part 1, the spirit worlds, and we loved it. We decided to end it there. So here is part 2.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to talk about this, especially because we got our first comment and from our YouTube channel.
Yeah, check us out on YouTube.
Check us out on YouTube as well.
Yeah, Jess creates all the artwork, thumbnails on it, and we have a picture that we created that's on the background. Yeah, it's like a podcasting background. So
what is that called? Like cover
art.
Yeah,
a cover. It's really cool. But yeah, we created that.
Yeah,
with the elements flying around an unknown avatar.
Yes. Which we should talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
later,
for sure.
At some point. Our cover art. But we got our first comment from Chris.
Shout out Chris.
And
that's with a K.
That's right. And they had put that they thought a good idea would be doing like a summary, some sort of summary before episodes to remind those who have already watched Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of what that episode would entail.
Yeah,
before we break it down.
Yeah, just people that are needing a refresher.
Yeah. And I thought first of all, we were stoked about a comment.
We were.
Again, if you guys want to comment or add any insights or thoughts to any of our thoughts or breakdowns, or please email us or comment on one of the shows on YouTube, wherever.
Yeah, but we were really excited to kind of get that feedback, and I think that's a great way, because just going throughout, like breaking down the episodes, there's so much that we have forgotten, and kind of just like new insights that we see when we watch the episodes again. So yeah, thanks Chris. Shout out to you for the idea of the summary.
Yes. So here's a summary from avatar.fandom.com. Again, Winter Solstice Part 2, Avatar Roku.
Yeah.
Let's go. So Aang travels to the fire temple to speak with Avatar Roku on the winter solstice. In addition to being chased by Zuko, a Fire Nation blockade led by Zhao attacks them but does not manage to stop them. Arriving at the temple, Aang is shocked to learn that the 5 fire sages which tend the temple are no longer the Avatar's allies. However, one sage who remains loyal, Shayu, helps Aang to reach the sanctuary where he is to speak with the past Avatar. Roku informs Aang about Sozin's comet, which gave the Fire Nation the power to start the war 100 years prior and will give them power again to finish it upon its arrival at summer's end.
Yeah.
Aang defeats Zhao, Zuko, and the sages when he manifests the spirit of Roku who destroys the temple.
Yes,
Let's go.
Let's go. Oh my gosh. This episode is so freaking good.
It's so good.
It is so good. And there's just a lot of development that's going on. I think one thing that I wanted to mention, like just right off the bat, kind of thinking about this episode, is Commander Zhao is just such...
Tell me.
A loser.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
He
is everything that you would think like a heartless general of the Fire Nation should be.
Correct.
He's a perfect product of the Fire Nation.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just so funny because, like, we know him as also Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah.
Who's also
a great antagonist, bad guy. Yeah.
It just does well. It's just like perfect.
Yeah.
To all of our nerd
and I just,
loves.
Yeah, for real. I don't know why, but like just watching the episodes back this time, I didn't really remember Zhao being such a big character.
I didn't either, honestly, but it makes sense because, well, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like going back and forth.
Oh, no,
but like,
good.
it makes sense that he's such a big character. But I think whenever I refer to, again, book 1, I think of the ending of book 1. So it's just so fun. It's been such a blast to like rewatch the episodes and then really get into the development in this first part of the book.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it really just makes sense.
Yeah.
Into
it also,
the rest of the series.
Going back through book 1, it also just really makes me feel a little sad for Aang all over again. I feel like every episode he's just like going through it every single time.
Yeah.
And he's just so stuck. But at the beginning of this episode, so he in the last episode, when he first enters the spirit world, he realizes that he needs to talk to Avatar Roku. And then the beginning of this one, he's trying to sneak away. And he's trying to pull Appa, and Appa's not like going with him. He knows that it's wrong. And like so, a lot of times before, I'm just like, come on, Aang, like just accept the help, man. Like accept that these people are with you and stuff. But he just loves his friends so much that he just holds this huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to leave with Appa without Sokka and Katara. And I don't know. There's just a lot of times throughout the first, season and episodes that I feel like Aang just needs to understand that like they're his family and they're going to support him no matter what. And at first, Katara and Sokka is like, we're not letting you go into the Fire Nation where the island is, but they're like, we're not going to let you go alone. And so just little by little, he's finding out that they're going to be with him no matter what. Like they're going to follow him and help him throughout his whole journey. And he just needs to understand that and have experiences of them showing up for him and stuff. So
I really like that, honestly, because his character is an air nomad.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, I don't really know if he was raised by monks.
I think so.
Right?
He was raised
by
is it Southern?
In the Southern
Air Temple. Yeah.
And so I imagine like the concept of family I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that must have been like for him as a child.
Right.
But Sokka and Katara, they've had each other as siblings. They know they've had a mother and father, like that classic family dynamic.
Yeah.
And so it's just really interesting, and really kind of goes to show a little bit of his character.
Yeah.
Aang's.
Yeah. And he's just struggling. He's
struggling
struggling with so much on his shoulders.
Yeah.
There's a lot of actually episodes throughout this, like all the books, where it gives me a little bit of anxiety when.
Really?
Well, just like one that's coming up is like when he can't sleep.
Right.
Or just like
Towards
when
the
things
end.
are piling up and you can just feel like there's so much pressure on him, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like to have that much anxiety and be such a young kid, that would just be like soul crushing.
The weight of the world is on your shoulders.
That's why he's the Avatar, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that really is why he's the Avatar, because I do want to mention, maybe I'm jumping way too far ahead, but this is just such a dope episode when he actually does get to the temple and meets with Avatar Roku. And I don't know if I want to jump all the way ahead right now, but I just want to say, like, Avatar Roku basically is telling him that he had to meet with him. That's why he sent his dragon to find him in the spirit world, and basically just like puts out this huge mission request, like what Aang has to do.
Right.
So already he knows that he has so much like pressure, and so like such a huge responsibility. And then Avatar Roku is like, not only that, but you gotta do this. You gotta do it by this time.
I think we should talk about when we break it down.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the stuff that leads up to that before.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for us to talk about that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It's good.
It's so good.
Super good.
Yes.
Honestly, though, if you haven't watched these episodes, go back and rewatch it.
For real. Yeah.
Because I love it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
I thought what was really interesting is that eventually Sokka and Katara go with Aang. He leaves, they both leave, and they're getting on their way into the Fire Nation, towards the Fire Nation. And Zuko comes to the village looking for the Avatar. He chases Aang on the bison, and he realizes they are going to the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
So he's having this like sort of dilemma. I don't even know if he thinks in his mind that there's a dilemma, but Uncle Iroh thinks it's a dilemma where he's like, Prince Zuko, you're going back to the Fire Nation.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure this is what you want to do?
Yeah. He's entering the Fire Nation waters, and yeah, I think Uncle Iroh says, out of your 16 years, this is like the dumbest thing you've ever done. Yeah, so he feels really strongly that
he
needs to stop following the Avatar.
You should not do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going right into Commander Zhao's hands. Yeah.
Do you think Uncle Iroh is as scared of the Fire Nation or do you think he's scared of the Fire Nation at all, or what they would do, or more scared of what they would do to his nephew?
Yeah, I do. I do think that he's just more worried about what they would do to Zuko.
Yeah.
Because at this point, he's still pretty respected in the Fire Nation, Uncle Iroh.
That's true.
Yeah, so I don't think he's scared of them. But I think that Uncle Iroh is also going through his own transformation at this time.
Correct.
Because
that's good.
Yeah. We've talked about how we feel like sometimes Zuko, like, he sees Iroh as like a failed captain. Yeah. And maybe that's sometimes why he doesn't like always listen to him, because he knows that he was like trying to penetrate Ba Sing Se, he was occupying it, but then, you know, overall his son passed away, and then I guess we don't know that. I'm so sorry. Just watch the Avatar. Yeah. But no, yeah. Rewind. But yeah. I think that Zuko sometimes just looks at him like he's like not what a Fire Nation leader should be.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, like, I don't know. If I, like if you know somebody and you're related to somebody who's like a leader in some sort of community and stuff,
Right.
you don't see them as like, oh, they're the leader, or like, oh, they're so and so. You're like, oh, that's my uncle.
Yeah.
Or like, that's my family member. You know? So.
For sure. But yeah, I think,
anyways,
like, to answer your question, I think that he just feels like they have no remorse, I guess, for Zuko. Zuko's trying so hard to just get back to the Fire Nation, and he's just like, those are not the people for you.
Those are not. Yeah, right.
So. And Uncle Iroh sees that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Well, Zuko is headstrong. He's like shooting these fireballs at Appa and the gang.
Yeah, while General Zhao, so they have like this whole blockade in the ocean with ships, and Zuko's just going straight at them, and Appa is flying overhead. And something that I thought was interesting is like how really there is no respect for Zuko at all, and how one of the people on Commander Zhao's ship was just like, there's a Fire Nation ship out there. You sure you want to shoot these fireballs that will, like, if they miss Appa, will come back down and hit the water? And he's like, just do it. Yeah. You just do it. He's like, there's a traitor or something on that ship.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all. He just doesn't even care about even the ship people.
Yeah.
The people who are like part of the Fire Nation that are just there on the ship, operating the ship for Zuko.
The Fire Nation is interesting.
It is interesting.
Because it's just like they don't see people as like human beings. They just have this huge mission in mind. Mm-hmm. And almost it's like Commander Zhao would be like, well, I was trying to capture the Avatar and it so happened to hit this Fire Nation ship. But like overall, I did something good for the Fire Nation.
Correct, yeah.
So it doesn't matter who died on the other ship who were also people part of the Fire Nation.
Right. It's so interesting.
Yeah.
Which is
there's a lot of parallels with just like war tactics and war generals, just in general.
You know what I thought? I had a thought come to mind.
What?
This is maybe a little dramatic. But I was like, when you were talking about like parallels, I was like, oh, like in the corporate world, they just view it as like numbers. Yeah. Like people are just not, I mean, like if you fail or if, somebody on a bottom tier,
there's this like this overarching mission.
Yeah. It's like kind of interesting. Maybe
we need to hit quota for quarter 4. It doesn't matter. Like just push it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yeah, what a just weird world. Yeah. Weird way to view the world. Just being so like mission oriented on something that's Anyways,
it's like it comes to like where the thought of like ethics. I mean, and there we go into Avatar. He's the one who's supposed to bring balance.
Right.
And so that's what's missing. So they are firing the fireballs, and Aang. Okay, so a fireball comes straight at Appa. It seems like it's like the last fireball before they can get through the blockade. And so a huge fireball comes straight at Appa, and Aang's just like, no. He's got to like protect his family. Yeah. And so he airbends and essentially destroys the fireball.
Yeah, it's dope how he does it too.
It does.
How he jumps off of Appa.
Dope. He jumps off of Appa, airbends, and they're able to come back. And they make it through the blockade. And right after, Zuko is like headstrong trying to get through the blockade. And like there's 2 ships that are coming and closing him off. And it's Commander Zhao on one of the like head ships. Yeah. And they're like about to block him off. And then Commander Zhao's like, let him through. Let him pass. And they have this like stare off.
Yeah, they do.
Where like they're passing. Commander Zhao is just like staring, and Zuko and Uncle Iroh are just like staring back at them, just like going through.
Yeah.
And like Zuko's ship is kind of destroyed. It's not destroyed, but it's like the engine, I think, needs repair. Something needs repair.
Yeah.
So I thought it was kind of...
It's nothing that will sink them, but one of the crew members does tell Zuko that they need to stop and make repairs. And he's like, nope. Yeah, we're not losing the Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can I just say, oh my gosh, like, what the freak? The Fire Nation ships are crazy.
They are.
Because Zuko's ship is huge.
Right.
And when they're passing Commander Zhao's ship, it's like, it looks so tiny compared to... And yeah, they're just out there in the oceans, just taking over. They're just a huge army. Yeah.
They are.
They have a huge navy.
Yeah. And the writers do so well, because when I think of that, I think of like, oh my gosh, all the resources they would need in order, like their Fire Nation before, in order to have really had all the resources to continue. They would have had to like, what's that called? Like, take over,
like expand
expand.
Yeah.
Oops. And get resources. So it makes sense, like the episodes before, like where they're like mining out of a Earth Nation village, you know, resources. It's just like, it's so good. It's so
it is so good. It's just so connected. Yeah,
it's so connected.
But yeah, so he passes. Commander Zhao lets them go by, and now they're in Fire Nation waters. Zuko and Uncle Iroh and his crew, and I love the shot where Uncle Iroh, like when they're staring at each other and they pass, Uncle Iroh's just like stroking his beard, like he's like, what's going on here? And then we figure out that Commander Zhao is just like, let's just follow them. He must know where they're going, or he's like, let's just let this play out. And Zuko, I mean, you see like sparks of really like smart things, and that he is very like tactical, smart leader. And because one of the engines got hit, it's just smoking really bad, so it's leaving this trail of black smoke. And Zuko decides that he's going to get on like a smaller boat and use that as cover to really go where the Avatar is going, and he'll have his ship kind of lead Commander Zhao and the Fire Nation, you know, to some decoy place. And so we see that he does that and starts following them. And then then the crew gets to the island, the Crescent Island in the Fire Nation,
where the temple is at.
Yeah, and that Aang saw in his vision.
Yeah. I love this part because they get to Crescent Island. Appa is tired. The fire sages, they want to stop the Avatar from connecting with Roku.
Yeah.
So they know already that like that's like their duty from Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah.
When Aang and the gang get to the Crescent Island.
Yeah. So they've just been ready.
Yeah.
Just
like they've been already told by Lord Ozai that.
No, well, I guarantee they told Lord Ozai, are like, yeah, don't you think? Right. Because they would have been in the temple when his eyes lit up when they were in the air temple. Yeah.
And so they were
told. Probably just told, they just like, they don't have any more, what's the word? Like, they don't have any type of tie to the Avatar anymore. They like.
Correct, yeah. I mean, it's been 100 years.
Right. Like, why would they want to snitch on him?
Right.
Like.
And,
apparently.
you know, the last Avatar was a Fire Nation Avatar.
Right.
You know? So
that kept the world in peace. Like,
yeah.
because yeah, I think that during that time it was mostly just peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I also think?
What?
I think it's like in certain cultures you have like so much pride for that culture.
Yeah.
And like villagers or chiefs of like a certain village.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, if there's somebody else, they're like, oh, but our avatar was the best, or our chief was the best because we're from this village.
You know what thought I just had too is that there's the avatar cycle,
right?
And after the fire avatar, the cycle was like to everybody in the world, it was just done. So they're probably like,
he is the avatar.
He's the avatar.
The only avatar.
Yeah, and he must be the greatest because it ended on fire. You know,
right?
Right. Yeah.
It's interesting.
It is interesting. So yeah, they don't support the avatar anymore, and they're trying to capture Aang, and so Aang and the crew just are running around the temple trying to avoid them. And you know what part I thought was so funny is that this just plays into who Aang is too, is that they're running in this temple and Aang's just like running past Katara and Sokka, and he's like, come on this way, and Sokka's just like, do you know where you're going? And he's like, nope. But he's telling them like, no, not that way, and then he like turns the corner, and then he's like, oh nope, not that way. It's just such a little kid, you know.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Aww. I thought, okay, so then they end up getting and running into Shayu.
Mm-hmm.
Shayu?
I think they pronounce it both ways.
Both ways.
Shayu.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, he's dope. So they
he's one of the fire sages.
Yes, he's one of the fire sages. He bows to Aang and firebends to unlock this secret passageway. And essentially he's like, oh, here, this is the way to go. And of course Sokka's like, do we want to trust him? And he's like bows to him and really explains that his grandfather knew Avatar Roku. So he grew up with these stories of Avatar Roku, of the Avatar, what the duty of a fire sage is. And I love this part where he's said that we all have a spiritual connection to this place.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was really good and interesting. It makes me think like, I don't know, like the thought of like spirituality of this fire nation. Yeah. Maybe it was lost. Due to the war.
Yeah. Yeah, because I also get the vibe that it's kind of sad too, because he's saying how people in the Fire Nation and the Fire Sages specifically lost hope that the Avatar would ever. So it's like it's been over 100 years, you know, and so it's just like their ancestors are like, oh, the Avatar is this person that just protects the people. He keeps everything in balance and everything, and they're just like, yeah, right. It just became like folklore, you know.
Right.
And here's Ozai, who's really like progressive in his thoughts, like really gonna make a difference and stuff. And they're like, all right, I've never met this Avatar person. Like, he's not coming back. So, yeah.
Fire Nation is the best.
So they just kind of lost that spirituality, I think. Yeah. It is interesting.
Which, from our last episode, you know, the Avatar is that bridge, and Aang felt like such this huge responsibility for him to protect nature, you know? Yeah. And it's so interesting that the Fire Nation is like destroying nature.
It's destroying nature, yeah.
And I mean, you could see it as a lot of different ways, because technically,
right,
with fire, after a fire, like a wildfire, comes like new life.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need like to burn certain areas to start anew.
And I think I think that's how the Fire Nation looks at it.
Maybe. Yeah. Oh, we're right. They do. Yeah. That's exactly it.
They look at it like it's time to rebuild a new world. And
whoa.
Yeah, so
that's exactly it.
You know what's funny? This is interesting too. I know that this is getting like super deep, but like how like the hero in some journeys is just it's just based on who's telling the story.
Correct.
You know, so for growing up in the Fire Nation, people are like, yes, like Ozai's gonna build this new world for us, so that it's all gonna be connected under the Fire Nation and all, you know. But it's just I think there is a quote that people say, like how whoever's good in history, it just depends on the winner.
Right.
Yeah, because they'll tell the history on how they want to tell it, you know.
Oh my goodness.
And then like the Avatar becomes like the antagonist, you know, keeping people separated, keeping the nation separated. I don't know. Yeah, so it's all perspective, but
it is.
It's crazy. Life's crazy.
Life is crazy. I immediately thought of what's his name from Marvel.
Thanos.
Yeah.
We should do a whole breakdown about how I think Thanos is right.
I mean, it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
All right. So, Xiaoyu takes Avatar and the gang to a door, and they notice it's closed. And only a fully realized Avatar can be powerful enough to open the door, or firebender sages can open it.
Yeah.
And so they're like with this predicament of how to open the door. I guess what they can do to open that door. Right. Because they have a time limit.
It has to be while the sun is setting on the solstice.
Yes.
Is when he's supposed to be able to talk to Avatar. So
correct.
Time's running out. Can I mention something really quick?
Yeah, of course, baby.
Is that it's just interesting. So the fire sages at the beginning, when they enter the temple, they introduce themselves and say that it's the fire sages' duty to be guardians of the temple of the Avatar. They don't say Avatar Roku of the Avatar, but I'm just like, how twisted are you guys?
That is twisted.
That the Avatar is here, but like you're so indoctrinated by the Fire Lord and the Fire Nation that you just like think that it's better to fight the Avatar.
Right. Well, I do have in my notes that they were forced to obey him, Lord Sozin.
Yeah. I guess
when
that's
he started the war.
Wow. Yeah.
So maybe just for 100 years, like they were forced at first, and then like down the line when it was theirs, it was just like that's what they have to do.
And they might not believe that the Avatar can restore balance, or
they may not even know what balance is.
Yeah, they've lived their whole life, which is kind of under the regime of the Fire Nation, but. Yeah.
Whoa. It's kind of like both sides, because when I think of that, I think of also when we talked about colonization with the imprisoned episode.
Yeah.
Like that mindset of being attacked. And then also, then we're seeing this like indoctrination of, right? Is that the word?
Yeah.
Of the other side, where these people who grew up in the Fire Nation and what they believe that their duty is.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting, you know, again, 18.
Yeah. The world is Last Airbender, it's just a weird place. The world is a messy place. Yeah.
Yes. This show is great. Anyways.
Yeah. This show is the GOAT. It's been goated. But yeah, so skipping back to what you were saying. So they're trying to get into where Avatar Roku's statue is. And yeah, they have to, and he says like only a fully realized Avatar can open the door, but if not, it has to be all 5 fire sages. They put together a plan. They try to blow it up and, you know, imitate a fire blast, but it doesn't work. And yeah, so they're just like, dang, like I need to get in there.
Right.
And they're just kind of out of options.
I love that they were like, oh, but it looks like we did. And so they were able to...
Was it Sokka?
Sokka
or was it Katara?
Was the one. No, Sokka was the one that created these explosions that he learned from his dad.
Yeah.
Back when they were in their tribes. And it didn't work. Aang is frustrated. It won't open. And it was Katara that says that it looks like you did, though. Yeah. So that's why then Xiaoyu goes and gets the other fire sages. They're like, quickly, we gotta open it before
he's like,
the door can't open.
He's like, the Avatar's in there.
Yeah.
So he's playing both sides right now.
I love it when they open the doors and guess who they see.
I know.
It's always Momo.
Yeah. So I mean, this is the episode. Like, this part right here is the episode. It is so cool. But yeah, so they Aang doesn't get in, but the fire sages think that he has, and so they open the door, and it's Momo in there, and then that's when Xiaoyu is like, now Aang. Oh
yeah, and so they get all the fire sages, and they're like, go Aang.
Even Momo gets one.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Oh, cutie.
He jumps on his face. Katara somehow pulls over the fire sage's little bib in front of his over his head. But yeah. And then so Aang is just doing all his acrobatic airbending stuff, swinging through them, all the fire sages.
Oh, Zuko is there.
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh! Yeah, Zuko's there.
They're like, "Go, Aang," and they're like, "Aang," and Zuko comes and I don't remember what he says.
He's like, "He's coming with me." Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, Zuko! Like, no, just shut up. You're always there at the worst times.
But Aang does escape.
Well, can I tell you too? Okay, so when you were mentioning about how Aang jumped off of Appa to airbend that fireball, Aang is actually a really, really powerful bender already. But just like how in the last episode, Sokka's like, we'll fight him together when he was talking about the spirit, and Aang's like, I don't want to fight him. He always is trying to avoid fighting. But so Zuko captures him and is taking him, and he's gonna take him to the ship, and he's like, all right, no, heck no, this is my only chance, and just whoops Zuko's butt and just blows him down the stairs, and then he just runs in, and the doors are closing to the actual temple, where Avatar Roku is, and Aang just makes it by a hair and jumps in there, and the doors close, and
the doors close, and the eyes start glowing.
Yeah.
So then the fire sages know that they cannot open the door again.
And they try. I think at this point Zhao gets there.
Yeah, I think
so. So Commander Zhao, he wasn't fooled by the smoke, and he actually shows up at the temple, and so they try to blast. They have enough firebenders at this time to blast another 5 blasts to open the door, and it won't open. And then one of the fire sages is just like, Avatar Roku must not want us in there, which is so dope. Oh my gosh, this is just the beginning of the dopest part when I was a kid. I honestly feel like I got emotional as a kid watching this. Yeah. Why? Well, because it's just he tried so hard, first of all, and then so it flashes to Aang, and he is in there, and then the light hits right in Avatar Roku's head or his eyes, and then he's whisked away. Aang is whisked away into the spirit world, and it's just this sigh of relief. Yeah. And this is when Avatar Roku's just it took you so long. It's good to see you, Aang. Yeah. I love that. And just you just kind of feel like Aang gets finally some breadcrumbs of how to be the Avatar.
Yeah. I think that's so... You know what I was thinking of? I mean, we talk about this kind of often, but I was thinking of Aang has had anxiety of being the Avatar for a very long time. Yes. And it's because I think from the monks that they must have had some like serious worries and serious anxieties because they were all worried about Sozin. And they were hearing about the Fire Nation gathering this army, and that's why they told him so young.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't supposed to know till he was 16.
Yeah.
And they told him early because of this army that Sozin was building.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so from a very young age, he's been having just this,
how
like...
cruel.
I know.
In a
it
way.
is kind of, in a way, but at the same time, it's like, they also, I'm sure, believed in him because he was such a powerful bender at that age.
Yeah.
You know, they probably noticed, like, oh.
And they just, like, know that he's the Avatar. And so they're just like, he'll step up. And, yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah. And you know what I'm thinking? So when he meets Avatar Roku, he tells him about a comet that is coming this summer, by the end of the summer.
Let's get into it. Okay, so
yes,
here it is.
Here it is. This is like, oh my gosh, this is so good. But so he's telling him about this comet that is coming at the end of this summer, and that this comet came and it comes in cycles of 100 years or something like that. And he said that this was the same comet that not Avatar, but that Sozin used to start the war.
Yes.
And that it makes them like so powerful firebenders when this
Yeah.
comet is here. And I wonder, like, here's something that is just like, this is just a theory, but I wonder if, because Avatar Roku says that they use this comet to like deliver their first strike, the Fire Nation. I wonder if they did that and that's what scared the monks so much, being like, oh my gosh, the Fire Nation just did this, we need to tell him he's the Avatar. Maybe it was stemmed from that first strike that Avatar Roku is talking about.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe, like, the comet already happened.
Yeah, like the comet had happened 100 years ago when Aang was back there living with the monks, and then that's why they told him. But
Oh my gosh.
that's just speculation, because why else would they force telling him?
Right.
You know?
Correct.
So, but yeah. So that, I mean, oh my gosh, this part is so amazing.
This part
like, if you haven't watched the Avatar, if you haven't watched it in a while, go back and watch this, because I just get pumped every single time. I was like just ready to go.
No, he does. Every single time.
Every single time I see this episode. But, so yeah, break down a little bit more of what Roku's like telling him. He's telling him that the comet is coming at the end of the summer, and then just kind of what else.
He specifically says that Lord Ozai wants to use Sozin's comet to end the war.
Yeah.
So to make this new world that he wants, where essentially total domination, essentially. And he says, Aang, if you want to restore balance, you must do it by summer's end.
Yeah. And I think that he like kind of prefaces that by saying that typically like an avatar has to take years,
right,
to master all 4 elements.
Yeah.
It's like you got to do it in 2-3 months.
Yep. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, okay.
So crazy.
Oh my gosh. Because yeah, this is the summer solstice. Oh no, it's the winter solstice. So yeah, like what?
Yeah.
7 months? Whatever.
Yeah.
6 months?
6-7 months.
6-7 months.
It's going to be here.
Woo. Let's go in.
Yeah.
So he's scared. And he's scared he won't be able to master the elements in time. And he's scared to fail.
Yeah. Poor Aang.
But I really like this part where he says Roku. So Roku knows he can do it, because he has done it before.
Yeah. And I think that's like the parts where I'm getting like emotional in this part, because it's just like, it's so spiritual. There's so many spiritual elements in the Avatar, like reincarnation, like that belief, and yeah, like the belief that you can receive help from like your ancestors or from this
or like
side
a higher power.
Yeah, this added power that you can receive. And like when he says that, I just like, I feel like although it's a lot, Aang's just like a little comforted by Roku. Right. And he knows that like if Roku's saying it, then he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the power is like within him.
Yes.
Like, he's able. Roku says that he is a part of him.
Yeah.
And when he needs to talk to him, he can find a way.
Yeah.
And I just love that. Like, there's always a way.
There always is.
You know?
And I would just like to say that that's something that you and I talk about a lot, is that there's just always a way you can make things happen. And yeah, there's like whatever you want in life, like there's a way, whatever obstacle. And this is my TED Talk.
Keep going, baby.
No, yeah, but okay. So the next part of this is that I literally always say it at the same time.
Yes, you do.
So Avatar Roku is like showing him in this vision, Aang, what's waiting for him outside of the temple, and that Zhao is there, and they're like, they're gonna. Like
Capture
a great
him.
danger. He's like, a great danger awaits you. And he's like, what does he say exactly? Do you know? He's like, I can help you, but only if you're ready.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Yeah, he's like, but I can help you get out of this danger, but only if you're ready. And
and then Aang says,
and then every time
I'm ready.
he's like, I'm ready. In the Avatar voice, and I always say it along with him. But honestly, oh my gosh, this is the greatest part ever. So Aang's like, I'm ready. And so it flashes back out to them, and Katara and Sokka are tied up, and they're like, Katara's like, oh my gosh, how's Aang gonna get out of this one? And Sokka's like, how are we gonna get out of this one? And he's like, get ready, man, Zhao. And the doors are about to open, and right when the doors open, they all just start fire bending in there and just throwing all their power to whatever is going to come out of that room, just to ensure that there's no way he can survive. And so this is the greatest part, is that you see that the fire that gets shot, it just like gets wrapped up and like disappears.
Right.
And then Roku just is there.
It's
Roku,
Avatar,
it's Avatar Roku, and he's the one just bending, and Aang is like, it's Aang, but Avatar Roku has like kind of used his body to come out, and it looks like Avatar Roku, and you can see he's like in the spirit world or whatever. He's bending, and he's just whooping some butt.
Yeah, he's in the Avatar state.
He's in the Avatar state, and then it's the Fire Sage, right? That says,
yeah. And well, they're just shocked. They're like firebending, and then they're like, it's Avatar Roku there standing. And so
even
they
the
stop
fire sages,
and the sages know he is going to destroy the temple. Which I thought was interesting.
And they know they effed up.
Yeah, they like tell Katara and Sokka, like, I think it's Shayu was like, we need to leave. Like, Avatar Roku is going to destroy the temple.
Yeah.
And Katara and Sokka are like, we can't leave without Aang. Which, so sweet.
They love him. Yeah, they love him.
So sweet. They're like, we can't leave without him. We gotta wait for Aang.
And I don't think that they know that is Aang.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Because it just totally looks like Avatar Roku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody else is running. Sokka and Katara wait for Aang. They think he's gonna come out of the doors after Roku.
Yeah.
And then they see, after everybody's left and ran away, Zuko is so interesting. Immediately when he sees Avatar Roku come out of the door, because he's like behind a pillar, or like he gets out of the capture of Commander Zhao somehow. And once he sees Avatar Roku, you see him just running.
Yeah.
He's already started running.
He just books it.
Yeah. And so anyways, everyone, once the temple is destroying, everyone's left, and then Avatar Roku transforms back into Aang, and he's exhausted, and he's there.
Yeah, and Katara and Sokka catch him. Yeah, too, is that like Avatar Roku destroying the temple, bringing like the lava up and stuff, like that has to create like some pretty crazy rumors about the strength of the Avatar.
About that too.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I bet you that I bet you people in the Fire Nation just thought there's nothing that can stop them.
Right.
And like then they heard like, oh, the Avatar destroyed the whole temple and the island. Like he destroyed the entire island.
And it was Avatar Roku.
Yeah, and yeah, that's gonna spread as well. You know,
Right.
is that people probably love Avatar Roku, and so they're like, if he's doing this and not approving of this, then you know, there's gonna maybe cause some division.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so good.
One thing that go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, one thing I was gonna say is that so at the end you see Zhao and he's just like so mad at the fire sages and he's like, you guys are all traitors, and then they're like,
Yeah.
well, it was only Shayu that was a traitor, and he's like, to me, you guys are all traitors.
Yeah, all guilty.
Yeah, you guys are all guilty, and I wonder if it says anywhere like later on in the episodes, but that's sad. Like, what happens to them? What happens to Shayu?
I don't know.
I don't know if we ever hear, but
I don't think we do. It is sad.
but R.I.P. if something like that happened, you know.
Right. Oh my gosh, it is sad.
Yeah.
But that's like a thought and interesting. It reminds me of like the meme. It's like they never say the like kill in kids shows, and they just find ways to like we'll end them, or like we'll have the Lord Ozai like deal with them, which means like, of course,
it's what they're implying.
Yeah. So that is sad. Yeah. I thought something. I love how this episode ends. So Aang changes, back into himself. Appa and Momo show up and take them. They're like flying and taking them. Then there's that scene with Zhao, and then towards the end, Zuko, you can see a little clip of Zuko is still tracking Aang and the gang.
Yeah.
He is, relentless. He just saw Avatar Roku.
You gotta respect. There's like respectable
yeah
traits and principles and
there
Zuko.
Is honestly. And like what we were talking about when we were watching the episode, we were just like, man, Zuko, like he just saw Avatar Roku and he still needs to track the Avatar and still bring in Aang because he needs his honor back. Yeah. And that's like crazy. One track mind. Like that's what he thinks about.
Which is like a very sweet and admirable trait.
It is.
Is that he feels so strongly about like how he's perceived and who he is and what his nation thinks of him, but it's sad.
What his dad thinks of him.
Yeah, what his dad specifically, and to regain his honor. It's all, and I think that's what Uncle Iroh sees, is that he's just like, there's this good kid in him that is just a little misguided, but he is very strong. Yeah. He's a very strong individual. But
believes in him. Mm-hmm. So it ends with the gang on Appa, and they're flying off into the moon.
Yeah, that's such a cool shot. I love that shot too.
I really like that. But I thought it was interesting, like it wasn't like they're passing the moon. It's going to the moon.
Yeah.
Kind of foretelling, I think.
Yeah.
Towards the end of
cool. Yeah.
The season. There's a lot of foretelling.
Dude, shout out to the freaking writers. Like,
so good.
Yeah, just shout out to that whole team.
Shout out.
And I just always love that shot too, when it shows them on Appa. And I've told you this, like, just what kind of conversations they had on Appa. Like, they're probably just like talking and just like so excited, just traveling the world. They have this big purpose in mind. And I love it so much. It's even my screensaver.
It is your screensaver.
With the gang on Appa. It's like that famous picture with the moon.
With the moon in the background.
On the side of them, though, yeah.
Oh, right.
Because it's like a side shot of Appa and them, and Aang sitting on the harness. Yeah.
It's so good.
But yeah, great episode.
I do want to say that when they're flying off into the moon, Aang is he's still feels this, like, although like he got some answers, you can tell he feels like I don't know if it's like, we can't tell from the shot if he's just tired or if it's just like this weight. And Katara comes over there, hugs him.
Yeah.
Then Moma comes close and Sokka comes close, and they're just hugging each other. And I'm just like, oh, they've like created this family.
Yeah.
And over and over again, Sokka throughout this episode is like, Aang, we got your back. And even in part 1, he's like, Aang, I got your back. Like, really just reminding Aang, like, they truly are family.
Yeah.
And they believe in him.
Yeah.
I thought that's so sweet.
Love it.
Perfect how it ends.
Yeah. Perfect. Great job, babe.
Great job to you. I got your back, baby.
I got your back. Love you, babe.
Love you.